Welcome to the Jeff Knows Inc. Entrepreneurial Show with your host, Jeff Lopes.
We are live in the Jeff Knows Inc. podcast. I'm your host, Jeff Lopes. We got a special guest today, Will Abi Rafeh. Are you from you're right in Long Island right now?
Yeah, I'm in Long Island. Yep.
Very cool. You want to say hi to everyone?
Yeah, shout out to Long Island. What's up, everybody?
Very, very cool. We are going to get into a lot of topics today. We have an individual here that has so many things on his plate right now. So I just always start off our podcast getting to know the guest. We'll just let our audience know what are you currently doing, what your plans are, and what's happening in your life right now. Then we're going to start the conversation, brother.
Yeah, for sure. First of all, thanks for having me on. I really appreciate it. And for you guys that don't know me, my name is Will Abi Rafeh. I'm an entrepreneur. I'm in the fashion industry. I'm in the hair industry, the beauty industry. Just came out with a new product. So I have my hands in everything. And it's been an interesting journey, just going on and figuring out new avenues and new directions. So you guys are going to get to know me this upcoming year with a lot of different things for sure.
When you started off, I always dive into people's history. So as an entrepreneur, did you have entrepreneurs in your family? How did that all work?
Yeah, believe it or not, my father was a business owner. And, but he was more of like, I'm more of an entrepreneur in regards to coming out with products and different ideas. My father was more of, like opening up like a deli mart or a grocery mart type of entrepreneur, Yeah. So, but it never really ran, freely in my family. I was more of like an artistic individual. I got a lot of my, my inspiration from my mother, who was, hairdresser. She was involved in modeling. She was a singer overseas. So that was really like my muse and my inspiration was more of her. The entrepreneur thing, I think, came more of having more of, I guess, as entrepreneurs, we all are kind of like want to be a boss in a way that we think we can do it better, I guess.
Yeah, 100%.
So where that came from. Yeah, for sure.
So your mom, was she, did she have her own salon, or she actually worked for another salon?
She worked for another salon.
Very, very good. So did you spend a lot of time growing up in the salon industry?
Yeah, I did. My mom, she would always have people at the house. She had her own salon kind of downstairs where people would come and get their hair done. And I was always interested in the hair business. And my friends would come over on Friday nights and they would be like, oh, let's go out. And I would start giving them haircuts downstairs and start giving them fades and haircuts. And that's how I got into it. And I started barbering and stuff like that.
Very good. So you said right now you currently have some products you're coming out with. Give me a little rundown of what you're coming out with product-wise.
Yeah, so we came out with Code Blue Energy health beverage that just hit the market. We're in a bunch of retail stores, including 7-Elevens.
So what is that? Is that an energy drink?
It's not an energy drink. It's a health beverage that provides energy. So we have weight loss components in it. We have B12 in it, B6, ginseng, taurine, all kinds of stuff to give you that burst that you need to help you also lose weight in the product. We also are one of the first drinks that came out that has a multivitamin, full-fledged multivitamin in the product. You literally drink it, you get your multivitamin in for the day. It's called Code Blue Energy. And one of our main things is to help support police, help people lose weight. The culture behind it is very pro, America, pro police, pro fire.
So, I mean, the beverage industry is a very hard market to get into. What inspired you to get into that market?
Oh, yeah.
You know how it is with shelf space and it's a lot more things behind the scenes to get your product on the shelf in variety stores or in the local grocery stores and whatnot like that. What drives you to get into that industry?
Oh yeah, it's extremely difficult. I mean, to get into this industry, you have to have legitimate good backing in it because you're going to be in shelf war space, like you said.
Yeah.
And when you're competing with people like Monster, Red Bull, all these guys have billions of dollars and they're willing to buy you out for the shelf space. So the main thing is I would tell people is you have to be innovative in a way where your product has to be a little bit different than just an energy drink, because there's a million energy drinks on the market.
100%.
So when we approached the market, we wanted to be able to have a product that provided energy, but was also a product that was able to be put in a health area, health store, the health section, the protein section of, a retail store or whatever it may be. So we wanted to not just subject ourselves to one thing and just be energy drink. Because if you do that, you're going to lose the battle. There's no way you're going to, those guys already run the industry.
When you started this journey with this energy drink or this health drink, from thought to actual on the shelf, what are you looking at timeline for people to get understanding of how hard and what a journey it is?
Right. And we're continuing to have a battle for shelf life. We're almost at the point where we're trying to concentrate on the best avenues. I don't want people to think if you come out with a product that just shelf. Online is huge. We all know e-commerce online is one of the biggest things possible. And if you find your targeted consumer, just stick to them. You know what I mean? All you need is like one or two huge buyers,
I love
and you're good. You don't need
to stick to your lane. I love that. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Because then it becomes confusing. It becomes depressing, and you're competing with everybody, and you don't know what direction. But back to your question, it took us about, believe it or not, it was quick for me to get it on a shelf in a retail store just because I was connected with 7-Eleven owners. I knew people. But to continue to keep it on the shelf, that's the main obstacle. Because if your drink ain't selling, and Red Bull or, like I said, Monster or somebody comes in there and they're selling and yours is sitting on the shelf, it's problematic. So you have to make sure, like I said, you have to continue that war. It's an everyday war with them for sure.
How much effort is put towards your marketing aspect of this?
We just actually are in the middle of rebranding. It's continuous. Yeah. We're always coming up with ideas to make the product better.
So when did this all start? When did this journey start? What year? How many years ago, or what's?
We're probably about 3 years ago.
Yeah,
we're looking at 3 years.
It's such a battle with that industry.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, we were hyped up in the beginning, like any entrepreneur is going to be. You're going to be excited. You're like, yeah, this thing's going to be amazing. You get the word out. Your friends are buying it. Your family members are buying it. People are buying it. They're going to the website. Your supporters, and then all of a sudden, there's nothing. And then you're like, So marketing.
It's the reality of a brand, right? It's your local support only goes so far, right? And then it's just getting out to the masses and getting out to the individuals. You could call yourself a celebrity. You've been on TV. You've been around everybody. A lot of people know you. You have a good following. Have you tried to get some bigger celebrity endorsements behind it?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we want to get celebrity endorsements behind it. Social media is a funny thing. There's media influencers with like 2.5 million followers, you know what I mean, that have just as much as a celebrity that you could kind of go towards that and not pay $100,000 or whatever they want for it. So is celebrity endorsements the thing to be? I don't know. That's a topic that we discussed. I'm not sure if that whole thing is really the way to go. Sometimes just going to these
influencers.
The influencers and expos, these expos where distributors show up, you know what I mean? And then setting up a strategic plan to go and, do certain things for the community and neighborhood with the product and getting it kind of more of a grassroots build up on it. I find this kind of works better, and it slowly builds up when people keep seeing the product on the shelf and the distributors are out there pushing it and you're doing promotions and you're continually pushing it over and over again. It works. You don't see a lot of celebrities doing a lot of different products out there, and there's products that are taken off, and they don't have celebrity endorsements. They're doing fine on their own. Yeah,
100%. With yourself, what was your first journey as an entrepreneur? Like, what was your first taste, small? What was your first taste to get into the business world?
I would say doing hair. I still do hair till this day.
You still do, huh?
Yeah, for sure. For sure. That's one of my best talents. And I haven't given it up because I'm extremely talented in it and I do extremely well in it. And I've had the gift to be able to do some really major people in the industry and do their hair. And it's landed me huge opportunities. I mean, in reality TV and just in a lot of different ways. But, that was probably my first experience as an entrepreneur, because I was a barber. I was responsible for my own times. I was responsible to pay my rent share at the end of every single week, which was a space inside of a space, a sublease basically.
Yeah.
And I built my clientele from there, and I still do it till this day. And
How old are you when you first started that?
I was 15. I was 15.
Good for you.
Yeah,
Good for you.
I've been doing it for 20 years, man. I mean, I love it. It's just the artistic side of me. It's one of those things that I'm able to flow out. I love it way more than the beverage industry, that's for sure. I hate,
Yeah.
I hate the beverage and product.
The beverage industry is one of those industries where you're either going to fall hard, or you're going to just hit the right mark at the right time and get the right buyout, to get the right buyout strategy and cash out. I mean, that's what I would say. I don't know what your future plans are, but most people are hoping for the big cash out, right?
Yeah, of course. I think with any product or industry, when you have global guys that are controlling the market already,
it's so hard. It's so hard for
you're not going to beat them. I mean, unless you're sitting on billions of dollars and you want to do that. Why not just get the cash out, build the product up, get the cash out,
and use your creativity to keep creating products to cash out on. I mean, 100%. So with your, do you currently own a salon?
I don't own a salon. I'm in one. I'm the only male barber in the salon. I only do men's hair.
Yeah.
So I'm good, man. I have no overhead. I do have the potential right now to open up a place. I would love to, but just right now it's really, me personally, I wouldn't advise anybody. It's a very sketchy time with COVID and everything. That's
100%. Yeah.
To open up a brand new salon or barbershop and put be ready to rot. It's a weird time. So I'm good right now where I'm at. I'm happy.
Do you play around, or do you play around in your head, or do you have any plans for hair products?
Yes, I did. It's in my head. It's a possibility.
It just works hand in hand with what you're doing, right?
It is. It is.
And just by listening to your, I always tell entrepreneurs, where you're not working, you're not running a business if you have a passion for it. It's an everyday, it's a joy to go to work. It's joy to open up your doors when you have a passion for something. Just by every single word of your mouth shows your passion for that industry, right? So and as you're building, as you're branding yourself, it just makes sense just to build a brand around you, right? And products that you could endorse, you could support, you could push. So I mean, I think this be a perfect opportunity for you as you keep growing, right?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you hit the nail on the head. You're 100% right. And it is much more simpler when you're already in the industry, you're doing hair, you have the consumer bases already built up. So for you to for me to come out with a product for hair, when I have guys asking me every single day, what kind of hair product can I use? What kind of hair product can I use? It's a sure sell. It's a win, and then from there you can, continue to build it up, or you can just have the product within your barbershop or your salon and just sell it every single day. People are going to be there, the consumer's there. So
yeah, but with social media and as you brand yourself, I mean, I just look at the opportunity, right? You have a profession in such an industry that's very niche, but at the same time, such a big industry that you could explode on a product and make a nice product line, right? A nice branded product line for yourself, right? And it just works hand in hand. I always look at everything as passive income, right? It's the work to build the brand, but you have 2 steps ahead of most people because you're in the industry, the industry. You're going to be able to build a product that's premium compared to most people that just want to cash out on it, right? So having that opportunity to build the product and then it becomes passive income is a massive part, right?
100%. It goes hand in hand,
Yeah.
And I don't think a lot of people realize that unless I guess they have that entrepreneurship where they understand that and they see different avenues in the field to grow.
So now I'm gonna expect that out of you, Will. I'm gonna be.
Yeah, man. You reminded me.
I'm gonna get a hold of you.
I'm thinking in my head. After this, I gotta get back to it. What happened, Will? You forgot all about that.
Don't let it go, man. I'm gonna start messaging you like every freaking couple weeks. Did you get your damn name right? Did you get?
For sure.
Did you get your designs going? Just push it, buddy. Push it, man. It's we get so busy with our lives, but you gotta just keep pushing and pushing and pushing and pushing, because everything comes with hard work, right? The harder you push it, the harder you motivate yourself and go, things are just going to happen. And it's just that I always call everything a domino effect, right? So I always tell people, when you're looking at the domino effect, and I had a guest on named Terrence McMahon, and he's an expert on this. It's, you look at the last domino as your final goal, okay, and say, I want to have a full 6 product lines. I want to be selling online, especially with Amazon, everything now. You don't even have
Oh,
to
yeah.
worry about retail. So build your brand, and then just with social media, build your brand, and then get it on Amazon and get it on retail, and get it online on your website. And he always has that mindset where you have the end goal. So the end goal is like, okay, I want to have 6 products, all branded, ready to go. Now I got 100 dominoes in front of me. How do I get there? So you start with just simple domino. Okay, let's get the name. The next day or next week, let's next domino. Let's just start designing some logos, and you just do it. And all of a sudden, slowly, every day, every couple of days, you do one domino. Before you know, you got that, you steamroll, and you got the momentum. And before you know, 6 months pass, and you got your products already done, right? So I always tell people is set your long-term goal, and then have your little goals, and just every day, just clomp them. Even if it's spend an hour today, let's figure out a name today. You know what I'm saying? Just do it, because you have, I'm looking at you right now, and it's like you have a massive, just by your passion and what you do, and your confidence in yourself. Because obviously you got that confidence that you believe in yourself with what you do. So that's all going to come out in your product, man.
Oh, thank you, man. No, I really appreciate it. And I mean, you're 100% right. And just speaking to you, it's those little goals for the end result are so important. And a lot of people don't realize that, they just see the end result. And then when it comes, time comes, push to shove, they're like, oh, I don't want to do this, or I don't want to do that. But when you're passionate about something, it goes hand in hand, exactly like what you said. Like, I'm already doing hair. So for me to come out with a product line for a men's pomade or a men's hair gel, it's exciting for me, because not only am I creating it, the consumer's already there. I already know that the consumer is there in a small way.
It's not when you creating it, is you're going to be able to create a premium product, because you know what's good, what's bad on the market, right?
Exactly.
And then it expands. It's such a market where you got your shampoos, there's so much stuff. And even with the beard aspect of it, right? I mean, it's such a,
Oh yeah.
there's
Oh
so
my God.
many products you could push with it, right? With the same line. I hope you go get it, man, because there's a big opportunity for you there. I think a bigger opportunity than
You inspired me, dude. I'm telling you, I forgot about it, bro. And you literally just jolted my mind. This was a God-given podcast, because I'm like, wait a second, like, you know what I mean?
I'm looking at you. I'm looking at your tattoos. I can even see your packaging with the kind of the tattoo look, the whole black and white. Like, you can make it look that a very chic, high end, but very modern look to it, and just push it, man. Shampoos, awesome. Beard products. Before you know it, it starts from one. When I started Kimura Wear, which is the martial art company, we started with a pair of shorts as a concept 15 years ago. Now we got 147 products. I've sold well over, just one of the products of boxing gloves, we've sold well over 250,000 pairs of boxing gloves. It's just, it starts with one product, right? It starts with one product, and you build a brand. And once you build a brand, it all starts flowing, right? And everything, and nothing happens overnight. But like I said, you're so much more ahead of everybody, because you're going to understand the product. You're going to understand the concept. You're going to understand the look. You're going to understand what your consumer wants. You're going to understand, when you're developing a product and testing it, what's good, what's bad. So you could come up with a premium product that, you could sell and push hard. So, I mean, I hope you go for it, man. It's something that's it's right in your hands. You just don't lose that opportunity, right?
Yeah, no, you're 100% right. And honestly, thank you for, I guess, getting my mind back on that. Cause, probably a year ago, I was sketching names down, ideas. I reached out to some suppliers overseas in regards to the product, and I still have it in my thread, in my history. And I just got diverted, and just in life and situations and things that were going on. And, I have this beverage company that we're trying to push, and then you go back to that. And then, even as an entrepreneur, you get nervous, and you're like, I don't, is it going to take this amount or this, or what am I going to do if this doesn't take? Did I waste more money? So it's always, but I think that a hair product, I feel much more confident about that than I would.
Just think of if you come out, and I always say, I don't like coming out with one product, because it's never a company. I would launch it. I always tell something like that in that industry. My advice to you, if you take it, I would start with 3 products. Find 3 products that you could personally sell. Spend a little bit more money, where you might have start with a smaller run, even locally with a smaller run, somewhere right build something, try to build something right out of the US, out of California or something like that. Find a manufacturer and just build something, test the product, get the ingredients, get everything going, build it, get it out locally, and then just start building Amazon and stuff. And with social media, like your social media is growing. I was checking out yesterday. Your social media is growing. You got great posts, great photos. Just start spreading it, start passing it, start doing your posts with it, start talking about it, start doing videos on it. Like I'm telling you right now, in a year, you'd be sitting back like, wow, this is awesome. It's just a start. Just get going with it, man. Don't procrastinate about it.
Yeah, no, thank you, man. I'm
gonna be up your ass now. You know that.
No, do it. You know what? Hey, man, you honestly have completely re-inspired me to do that. That's something that I didn't, and not the fact that I didn't want to do it. I kind of forgot about it, and you brought it back up. So, I'm hyped right now about it. So
very cool.
When we get off, I'm gonna be like, ready to rock with it for sure.
So I'm gonna dive into, and it's not something I want to go crazy into, because I know you probably get this in every podcast, everybody asking about it, but your TV experience, how did that all start on these reality shows? How did it all start, and what'd you take from it? What'd you learn from it?
Yeah, for sure, 100%. So like I said, doing hair landed me on, that's my thing. My wife is a makeup artist, and she got discovered on social media. The show Jerseylicious was a huge show. It went on 6 seasons during Style Network, probably like, from, I don't know the exact years, but in the 2000s, like probably around 2000, I would say 11 to 2000, I don't know, 14, 15.
Okay.
And it was, and you can watch reruns on it right now. It's on Hulu, it's on Amazon Prime. But she got discovered as a makeup artist, and they wanted her to go do an audition in Jersey. And it's a funny story, because we go down to Jersey together, and she's awesome.
Were you just dating at that time?
Yeah, we were just dating. Yep. Yeah. So she got discovered by one of the head girls on the show, one of the stars on the show. Saw her in a social media thing for a lookalike contest, and she did a lookalike contest and she won. And the girl was like, oh my God. And they kind of like were friends. The girl's like, are you a makeup artist? And she's like, yeah. She's like, do you want to do my makeup for a photo shoot? So my wife was like, oh, at the time she's my girlfriend. She's like, oh my God, I'm going to do Tracy's makeup. I'm so excited. So she went to this photo shoot, did the makeup, came back. They had a picture together. I think they posted a picture. I'm not sure exactly, but the producers were like, we're looking for a makeup artist to put on the show. Who's that girl? They said it to the star, the show. Yeah. She told them who it was. They were like, we're doing open auditions in New Jersey in this huge mall. They're like, come on down. So Crystal was like, Will, you got to come with me. Let's go. I was excited for her. I'm like, yo, this is going to be a great opportunity for you. I'm going to go with you. We get down to the audition. She goes up, the producer, first thing comes up to her. He's like, oh my God, you look amazing. Because if you see my wife, she's like glam hair at that time with big Jersey hair. And we're from Long Island, so it's kind of very similar, Yeah. Makeup, like she looks like a one of those brat dolls. Those brat dolls? Yeah. That's what she looks like. So the producer came up. She was doing the audition. Open mall in Jersey, tons of cameras, everybody's there, people are shopping. It's an open audition. The producer comes up to her, he goes, who the hell is that guy with you? Like, who's that? And she's like, oh, that's my boyfriend. He goes, well, what does he do? And she's like, he actually is a barber. He goes, you're kidding me. We're looking for a barber for the show right now too. Get in front of the damn camera. I want you guys to both audition. And, and that was all she wrote. We both auditioned. They were like, yeah, you guys get over here and start doing this.
So how long were you on? How many seasons were you on for?
I was on about 3 seasons, all the way to the end. I skipped so I was on, I think it was season 3, 4, wasn't on 5, and was on 6. And Crystal was on 2, 3, 4, and 6, I think. Yeah. But
it's crazy how it's one of those things, being at the right spot at the right time.
Yeah, man.
You hear stories about it, and sometimes you feel like, I don't know if I believe it, but it's crazy when it does actually come to fruition, right?
Yeah. It's it's on.
How does that? For somebody that's an outsider like myself, like, how does that all work? When you're filming a season, how many months is that? How many times a week are you filming?
Dude, it's exhausting. People don't realize, for every episode, people have to understand, you're filming 10 hours a day, right? So even if an episode is for 1 hour, you're filming 10 hours a day, you're sacrificing 10 hours a day 5 days a week. Out of those 10 hours, you don't even know if you're going to make that cut for that episode. You know what I mean? They got to take the most interesting stuff. They got to put the storyline together. They have to put it where, you know, it's going to be viable for the audience to watch it and be like, wow, unbelievable. And they got to put the storyline together. So if you're thinking 10 hours a day, 6 days a week, what is that, 60 hours? You might not even make that cut. That whole episode, you might be featured for 3 minutes.
That's crazy.
So think about that. So you're dedicating a lot of time and effort to that, you know, and
so you were recording in Jersey. So you would come home every night to Long Island, you go to Jersey. So it's like a job almost.
Dude, it was exhausting. Yeah,
and
man.
you would actually be
Long
in
Island. It was 2.5 hours.
Yeah. And you would be in an actual, like, is it a studio? Was it an actual barbershop? Like what was it when you're recording it?
Yeah. So the show's premise, if you guys aren't familiar with it, was 2 competing salons in New Jersey. Okay. And the salons would compete with not only with just the customers, but the real beauty of the show was the characters in it competing with one another. The girl from that, the Gatsby, and then versus Anthony Roberts, and they dating each other's boyfriends, and that's her ex. You know, so there was a lot of
drama.
Oh man, yeah, a lot of drama, a lot of craziness. Huge fan base at the time, yeah, so I was in the competing salon, the other salon, which was Anthony Roberts, who's a great, phenomenal guy. Shout out to him. And yeah, it was a full studio in the salon.
What happened to you during this period? I mean, you're working so each season is how many months of recording?
I would say probably about 3 to 4 months, maybe.
So your life stops for those 3-4 months. That's all you do. So your actual clients, your barber clients, all that, you're done with that, I guess, for those 3 months or 4 months.
Yeah, man. You know what? For me and for Crystal, I think it was much more difficult for us because we weren't living in Jersey. The cast was all in Jersey. And we were C characters, right? Like CD characters. So, our pay grade wasn't an A character or a B character. So we had to still do our job and work and travel from Jersey and, sacrifice days at work. I was able to make it work, luckily enough, where, because they wouldn't need you every single week. You know what I mean? They wouldn't like unless you were the main character. Yeah. You're the main character, the show revolves around you, So, Tracy and Olivia were the main characters and the show revolved around them. So that was their life. They were, filming 24/7. Us, we were more like, all right, we need you for this, or, oh, we need this, or we need that. Come on down. But it was still a ton of filming for sure.
I'm going to ask you, I don't know if anybody's asked you this before. Being on a reality show and as an outsider watching reality shows, how did that affect your relationship? Because that must have put a lot of pressure on. Did it put any pressure? I shouldn't say must have, but did it put any pressure on your relationship?
Oh yeah, I'm gonna be honest with you. It definitely did. In the beginning, when we first got on the show, my wife definitely didn't want me on there. Like she was like, "This is gonna ruin our relationship." Because what happens with reality TV, opportunities open up, doors open up, fans, supporters, girls, all things start coming into play. And then not only that, you're dealing with, just people on the show, cast members, all kinds of things. So, and then you don't know, how the production and people want to pivot people against each other on the show, where almost in a sense, like,
Do they do that? I mean, I don't know if you're allowed to talk about this or not, but do they put you in situations where, and you always hear this reality TV, is they put you in situations where, like you said, they pivot you. They put you in situations to cause controversy. Is that true?
Yes, somewhat. Okay, so I won't say this. I'll say it in this way. Okay. So
sorry about that, buddy.
No worries, man. No worries. I'm not going to get into too much detail, and I'm not going to say every show does this because a lot of shows don't. Yeah. But I'm going to say this is an avenue that producers and people use on reality TV show. They'll say to you, "Hey Jeff, show up at the bakery. You're going to have coffee with, for instance, Will. Me and you are starting a new company. Yeah. Jeff and Will, show up at we're going to film you guys having coffee, talking about your new company," right? So that's what the scene entails. In your mind, that's what's happening. I know that's what's happening. Me and you are at the bakery shop, having coffee, talking about our company. Within that conversation, unbeknownst to you, your ex-partner from a failing company will show up in that bakery and come up to you and say, hey, Jeff, how are you? It will not only now realism of frazzling you and being like, what the hell is my ex-partner Mike doing here? Why is he here? And why is he in this conversation with me and Will? Which will create the realism of your reaction, the realism of my reaction, me now thinking, yo, is Jeff partnering up with his ex-partner on something else that I don't know? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And now everything comes to play. The viewers are seeing it. It's live. It's going to get, and that's how, and that's how it works, man. Like, that's one of their avenues that they use. And that's just something simple. Now imagine a relationship. Imagine you're there with your wife, and then they have your ex-fiance show up, and people aren't going to say no to an opportunity to be on reality TV. Your ex-fiance might say, oh, hell yeah, I want to be on this. And they're going to be like, okay, but this is what you got to do. But you got to sign this contract. You can't tell Jeff in this scene that you're going to show up, but you're going to show up. And then they're going to be like, okay, I'm going to show up. And now they're there. And you're like,
what the fuck?
Yeah.
That's crazy, huh? That's crazy. Yeah, that was just one thing I was questioning. So you were prepared, huh?
Yeah, I mean, I could never be fully prepared, but I was always, I'm ready to whatever it is. But I tell anybody, if you guys want to be on reality TV, or you want to take that avenue, be prepared, because people think it's all about being, me, and self-praise and being on reality TV and you're on a cool show and people know you. But you're going to be sacrificing, whether you could be sacrificing your work, your job, your talent. If you're a makeup artist and you're getting on fights, how do you know people are going to come to you when you're already successful, doing well? They're going to see you on TV and be like, I don't want to go. That girl's trashy. I'm not going to get my makeup done by her. So you sacrifice a lot, be prepared to what you're going to sign away on that contract in reality TV for sure.
So you were on that show. You were on, is it Mob Wives?
Yeah, I did a quick, we did a quick filming for Mob Wives because I was in, as well, I was personal training in the fitness industry. I trained two of the I can't really talk about it too much because the show never winded up airing, but I trained two of the characters on there. Yeah, for sure. Two main characters. I did a fitness thing, trained them. The episode revolved around them getting, they were trying to get back into shape. And, I winded up training them, but I don't think the episode ever aired. If it did, I didn't even see it.
Let's dive into that. So personal training. So fitness is, I was going through your social media and whatnot. So fitness is a massive part of your lifestyle, which I love.
Yeah,
as entrepreneurs, sure. I mean, fitness, it should be something that everybody in pushes towards, because it's a lifestyle, right? Being healthy. When did you first pick up some weights, and when did you first start working out? What age did you get into it?
Oh man, I've been an athlete my whole life, ever since I was a little kid. And I think,
did you play any sports?
Yeah, for sure. When I was little, I did soccer, I wrestled in junior high, and then lacrosse, football, hockey.
Hockey, huh? Hockey and lacrosse, those are Canadian sports.
Oh, I know. Well, lacrosse is a Long Island sport, man, believe it or not. Yeah, that's where it started. Yep.
Lacrosse is our look. Everybody thinks hockey is our national sport, but lacrosse is actually our national sport.
Really?
Yeah, in Canada. Yeah.
Well,
so you played lacrosse, huh?
Yeah, I played lacrosse, man.
It's a tough sport. A lot of people don't realize how tough of a sport it is.
Oh yeah. Oh, for sure, dude. It was extremely tough, and I was a goalie for lacrosse.
Oh.
I had my hand broken. Yeah, I'll never forget our coach was a Division I lacrosse player, and he would cradle this thing, wing it, and I was goalie, and I'll never forget, it cracked my hand, shattered my finger right in half.
How long did you play lacrosse for?
I played it for about 2 years.
What about hockey? How did that all come about?
Hockey, we used to play street hockey for a long time, and then we started playing roller hockey. One of my good friend's father, extremely successful entrepreneur, multi-millionaire, basically was like, I'm going to put you guys in a roller hockey league. We're going to put jerseys on you in my company. And you guys are going to be, that's what you guys are going to be called. We're like, oh, we don't want to be called computer or something. And he's like, no, that's what you're going to be called. I'm funding everybody's equipment, and you're going to go out there. And we actually won a championship, believe it or not. Unbelievable. So yeah. Absolutely. And then, we played roller hockey. It wasn't ice hockey. It wasn't crazy, but yeah.
Are you an Islanders fan?
No, I'm a Rangers fan.
Rangers fan. Okay.
Yeah. Huge Ranger fan.
Are you sad that Lundqvist is done?
Yeah.
You think he's coming back?
I don't know, man. I'm sad that the guy, he experienced the Stanley Cup but didn't win it because he was just such a phenomenal goalie.
He'll still go down as one of the greatest goalies of all time.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And just a class act, good-looking guy. Like that guy. I mean.
Oh yeah, the guy's
the guy has the world in his hands still, right?
100%, man. Yeah.
I think he'll still sign with another team next year. I honestly think he's still good. He showed in the last 2 years that it's all about the team now, and he doesn't care about being on the bench. So other teams are going to look at him and being like, you know what, he's a good backup for a young goalie to mentor, and he can come in when you need. So I think he'll still play a couple more years, sign for another team. Yeah,
well, I hope so. Whatever it is, I just at this point, just as him as a man and who he is, I hope he gets to a Stanley Cup where he's able to, retire the way he wants. But he built himself around New York. We love him here. The guy's a phenomenal goalie, and
so you were born and raised in Long Island?
Yeah, I was born in Queens, New York. Yes.
Oh, yep. Very cool.
Yeah.
Very, very cool.
I left Queens. That's a whole nother story. I was born in Queens in New York, Long Island. At a young age, my parents, they separated, and then I actually moved overseas to Lebanon. Where my grandfather, raised me.
How old were you?
I was a baby. I was probably like 2 to 5, 2 to 6. And it was the height of the Civil War in the 80s in Beirut. And I actually got smuggled out of the country because it was so bad. Yeah. And I almost didn't make it back to New York. So.
And how old were you when you came back? I
was probably about 6 or 7.
Yeah. If you were to stay there, I mean, eventually you would have got into the military. Like life would never.
100%. That's what was going to happen. That's what my grandfather said. He's like, go back. It was a long story. My parents aren't together, but they had a lot of stuff going on. And my grandfather was like, listen, it's getting bad here, and he's going to get drafted into the military. I was going to school at the time there, learning Arabic, and I was waking up with bombs going. I lost my uncle to the Civil War. There was bombs going off left and right, but everything. I experienced it. It was,
It's people don't realize in North America how good we have it.
Oh yeah,
how good we have it. Just when you're waking up, and I have a couple of friends overseas too, and when you're waking up and hearing bombs become a normality in your life, it's a pretty fucked up situation for children to grow up in.
Yeah, for sure. And
I'm glad you came back. Yeah, it's crazy. Is your grandfather still alive?
No, he passed away. But at the time, after that, they were there for a while, but then they all went to Canada. That's where they're at now.
So that's the Alberta. Yeah, that's the connection there.
Yeah. There's a lot of Lebanese in Canada, right?
Oh, there's tons. And Toronto is I mean, Toronto was probably, I would say Toronto was, if not number one, it's the top 4 or 5 most multicultural cities in the world. I mean, you have every race here, you have every restaurant here, you have, it's such a nice blend of cultures, and you have your little pockets of where people migrated. So you have your Lebanese, you have your Portuguese, you have your Italians, but everybody still interacts. Like I grew up in Toronto, and it's my high school. Like it was, everybody interacted. You had Oriental, you had Blacks, you had Whites, you had Indians, you had Europeans, and everybody interacted. Like my best friend at my wedding is Jamaican. Like it's so crazy coming from here myself when you hear all these. And obviously racism is so prevalent in the world, but when you hear all these stories in the US and all those movements are happening right now, it's hard to understand people's mindset, because I grew up in such a multicultural society, it's never planned in my head, this racism card, right? So and I think that's what as society we have to do with our children, is integrate them with as many cultures and as many different foods and understandings of cultures as a baby, and growing up, it's going to change a lot. And then that's the problem, is a lot of people still stick to their own group, right?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, 100%. I agree with you. In high school, like I was like, even my town, we have all kinds of races. It's the same thing. I hung out with everyone. My personality is multi-personality. I always say that.
100%.
I'm not one person. I hang out with every single person, and my group of friends were like that. I think it's unfortunate what's going on in the United States. I don't want to get into it too much, but I am a believer that, that the media is causing division far more than what it is, because
the media causes a lot of stress, right?
Oh yeah, for sure. 100%. And
yeah, I'm a believer. I don't want to get into that either, but yeah,
that'll be a different podcast.
But 100%. I think we're on the same mindset with that. And I know where your mindset, because obviously what your support and a lot of stuff you've done, I read up on some of your awards and stuff like that. So I obviously you're with the blue and all that stuff. So I appreciate what you're doing with that. My two best friends are police officers, right? My best man at my wedding and stuff like that. So let's dive into, how long have you been married for?
We're going on about, I would say 3 years.
If she's listening, you're gonna get in trouble.
No, she's not here. She's at work. She's at work.
3 years?
Yeah. And look, you see, I looked over my shoulder still.
How long you guys been together now for?
Yeah, we've been together for 11.
11 years. Yeah. Any little ones on the way soon?
No kids, not as of yet, but it's always a possibility for sure. We don't rule that out.
Yeah. How old are you? Well,
I'm 36.
36. Yeah.
Yeah.
So your mom, is she still in the salon industry? She's still.
No, I mean, my mom, unfortunately, she passed away.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah, it's okay. She passed away from cancer, but she was the best. She's my pure inspiration. I still hear her in my head all the time, giving me advice, even when she's not here. So
how long ago? Do you mind me asking?
5 months ago, man.
Oh, so fresh. Yeah, my condolences, brother. I always tell everybody this, and if you go to my other podcast and listen to my podcast, I actually was just talking about this a couple of days ago with somebody. People don't appreciate or understand how short life is.
Yeah.
And I always tell people, like my parents, I mean, I'm fortunate enough they're still alive, and I'm 43. They live about 30 minutes from where I am, and I'm married. I got 2 kids. I'm 43. I got a 14-year-old. So that's what I'm saying. You're starting late, buddy.
I know, dude.
I got a daughter going to high school, and I got my son's 12 years old. And I'll still drive down 2-3 times. I'll drive down whenever I can, even just to have a coffee with my dad, because I always hate when you hear scenarios where people will be like, and they don't see their parents for a year or 6 months or 7 months, and then something happens to them, and they're like, oh, I wish I did this, I wish I did that. When your parents are alive, or your grandparents or your loved ones, take the time and spend as much time as, but your life is busy, but spend as much time as you can with them, or just give them buddy, I'm 43, and I call my mom every morning, and I call my mom before I go to bed every night.
That's awesome.
You have to appreciate those things, because there's times like yourself, life's not fair, and you lose someone close to you, and it's never the same, right? So appreciate the time when they're around, and take the time, because life's so fucking short, man. Life is so short, right? We're on this earth, if we're lucky 60, 70 years, how fast that passes. That's nothing.
Yeah, of course. 100%, man. It's short, like a blink of an eye. Yeah, and you're 100% right.
How's your is your dad still working? Is your dad still? I mean, I should.
Yeah, my dad. Yeah, he's doing well. I mean, I don't. I have a different kind of relationship with him. I speak to him, but not like, I'm not like how I am with my with how I was with my mother.
So when you came back, I'm assuming you lived with your mom when you came back to.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Very, very cool. I won't get into that, by the way.
Yeah. No worries.
No, all good about it. So where do you see yourself in 5 years, besides having an awesome hair product line?
Yeah, for sure. Right. That's definitely one of them. So that's a great question. Okay. And I'm going to tell you, I've come to the point in my life where I truly want to make, at this point, it's not about me anymore. It's about other people. And, I have a strong relationship with God, and I just want to really make a positive impact on people. And the most important thing for me at this point in my life, as older as I get, I don't even know, how much longer I'm going to be here. Life's not promised, is to really help people, gain not only confidence in themselves, whether it's through hair, through product, through fitness, but gain confidence in themselves with a spiritual relationship with God. And just, there's a lot of people that are suffering from depression, from anxiety, from low self-esteem. And it's really unfortunate. And a lot of it's with the new youth and even older people, all kinds of people. So I really want to try to make an impact on people in that type of way at this point in my life, for sure.
Are you into meditation?
I don't meditate, but I'm into prayer. So I guess
so it's very similar. I'm not into meditation, but I like I call it quiet time. And this is something I
Yeah,
just
for sure.
applied
So
recently into
important.
my schedule. It's the exact same thing. So I'm an early bird. I'm up at 4:35 every morning. So I just take that time every morning, do my little routines, do my schedule, and then I just take 5 minutes and just breathe and just focus on what's going to happen today, what happened yesterday, let stuff out and just breathe and just almost reset. And I feel
Oh
like
yeah.
and I've applied it into my routine, and I'm very routined, and I find it's helped drastically just ease the day into it, right? So prayer is
Oh,
very similar. You know, I mean, a lot of people call it meditation, people call it prayer, some people call it just quiet time, but it's just having that time for yourself, right?
100%. It's so important, man. I mean, my life revolves around it. It's the center of my world when things are completely chaotic and, unfocused and unhinged. I think prayer is extremely important. Um, and yeah, it's a stronghold in my life for sure.
With the fitness industry, this is something you talked about before. Are you personal training people, or is that something you just did for that period?
I am personal training in a one-on-one aspect where it's more of interhuman connection where I will train somebody outside in the track on the park. And now what I really like to do is focus on diet plans. That's my main thing, is to help people lose the weight through the diet, because I don't have, the affordability to be out and training them. And I have so many things going on, you
Yeah.
know what I mean? So, I have a client that's been with me for years, and I feel really terrible. She actually she's reached out to me several times. And about 2 months ago, I had nothing but open time to do her diet and sit down with her and consult with her. And now I don't. And she wasn't ready 2 months ago, but now she's ready. And,
Yeah.
it's like, it's one of those things. So
Yeah, it's hard, especially with your schedule too, to fit in. So fitness is a massive part of your life. Like how give me a week in your fitness journey. Like what do you do on a weekly basis working out wise?
yeah, for sure. So we just got an announcement in New York that the gyms are going to be back open on Monday at
Oh, so
30%.
they officially haven't opened yet, huh?
Oh no, man. We've been with that gym for about 5 months here.
Yeah, so our gyms just opened up, and it's still you gotta, and I'm sure yours is gonna be the same way. You gotta pre-book online and book your spots to get into the
Yeah.
gym. But it's they just opened up. What are we now? August 1st, maybe the first week of August 5th, something
Oh
like
yeah.
that. So
So you
exact
guys
same
are
thing.
about 2-3 weeks ahead of us. We're going to open up this upcoming Monday. So, yeah, I mean, so basically my routine, I'll say when the gym opens up, I'll wake up every single day. I fast. I don't eat my first meal until 1 to 2 p.m. So, oh, you do the fasting?
I'm the exact same way, buddy.
Yeah,
My
man.
last meal is about
It's my
8:39 at
life.
night, and then I'm good till about I'm drinking right now black coffee. I'm good
Yup.
till black coffee till about 12:31 every day.
Mine right here. Yeah.
Yeah, love
Yep.
it.
Iced black coffee. Yep, for sure. And that's what I do every single day, 5 days a week, and then I wake up, I have my
You do it
coffee.
5 days a week too, huh? So the weekends you have breakfast.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the weekend, Sundays I do. Sundays I break the fast.
I break it on Saturdays and Sundays. Saturdays and
Yeah,
Sundays I'll have a light breakfast with my family, and then Sundays I'll have a big breakfast with the kids and stuff like that. So
yeah, you have to.
you
It
have
actually
to.
builds your body, to be
Yeah.
honest. It actually helps rather than, because what happens is when you continually fast for a long period of time, you also affect your metabolism, and then your body starts going into a way where it's like, am I going to get food? Am I not? And then you start holding on to fat.
Yeah.
And instead of losing it, like last night, and I do low carbs too, and I have a high carb day, I do carb rotation. But last night I had a super high carb day, and literally this morning I was like so lean just because I wasn't eating carbs, and then I had the carbs, and my body just
Sucks it all in. Yeah.
Yeah, it took it in. So yeah,
Very,
but
very cool. So
yeah,
how long have you been fasting for?
I
How many
would
years?
say I'm going on 2 years now with the
Yeah,
fasting.
I'm very similar, about a year and a half, 2 years as well. Like I find people don't understand fasting. They question it, a lot of people still, and it's so many benefits to it.
Oh,
Just
it's
your
amazing.
overall health. I mean, it allows your body to heal. I think that's the most important thing, is just allowing your body to heal. And I always try to explain to people, it's just the first thing I say to them, and I try to explain to them, I go, when you're sick, do you want to eat? No, like that's your body's reaction trying to get rid of that cold. It's trying to heal itself. So your body, when it's trying to digest, I mean, it can't heal. So allowing your
Sure.
body that time to heal and the recovery and recuperate is so important. People don't realize that. And they're like, oh, we got to eat. Breakfast is the most important. I think our media and these cereal companies and all these companies have just instilled in people's head with these commercials where breakfast is the most important meal of the day. It's a bunch of bullshit, man.
Yeah, I agree with you, man. 100%. I mean, and it's just so difficult sometimes for people that don't want to listen. And if they don't want to listen, that's their own fault. Think about it. If we really dive into it and divulge, we'll even go all the way back to the beginning, of time and biblical time. Like, we didn't eat the way we eat now. Okay.
At all.
We would have maybe one meal or two meals a day, low calorie. And, that meal would come from whether, we were hunting or whatever it may be. And, you wouldn't have that meal, say, till maybe 1 or 3 in the afternoon and that would be maybe your whole meal for the whole day or whatever. So we're not meant as human beings, we're not meant to even eat like the way we eat. It's actually disgusting and revolting in a way where everybody's got to eat. You have it at your fingertips constantly and continually. Eat, drink, snacks, this, that. It's way too much. I'm even a believer in like 1 or 2 meals a day, the fasting. That's all you need, and your body is going to stay lean.
I was watching.
More than enough.
I was watching another gentleman that was on my podcast a couple of weeks ago, and he just did a video yesterday, and he was in. I don't know. He's in California, but I don't know if I think it was in a Walmart he was in, but he's at the checkout, and he did a little video with his iPhone, and he's going up and down the aisles of the checkout, and he goes, "This is why America is so unhealthy." He goes, "There's not one healthy thing at checkout." And he was going up and down the aisles, all chocolate bars and chips and donuts and everything at checkout. When you're standing there and you've walked around that store for an hour and you're tired, is junk food, and it's just is eyeing you, and they're bright colors, and they're craving you, and they're throw me in your car, and it's just that marketing aspect of it where it's just gotta hunger, grab a chocolate bar, and it's instilled in people, and you have to break that in your children. I want you to check out my social media when you're done.
I will,
and you'll see my kids. My son's 12, my daughter's 14. They work out every single day with weights. My son's 12 years old, little guy. He's jacked, and it is crazy. And they do it on their own. I've instilled it to them as young as 3-4 years old. It's all about movement, just getting out, moving.
Yeah.
Kids don't play video games.
That's great, man.
My daughter does competitive dance. My son plays baseball, but they're all about fitness. They're running treadmills. They're lifting weights, and you're instilling that. And it's like my daughter's 14, and she's like, they're both making their healthy. My son drinks 2 shakes a day. They're drinking their shakes. So you have to instill this stuff into them when they're young.
Yes, agreed.
Because children don't have a choice what they eat. It's their parents. So if your parents are bringing home McDonald's every single day, those kids are going to build those fat cells. They're going to build that immunity to that stuff where they're craving it all the time because your body feels like that's a happy time in their life, right? It's almost like a lot of parents treat their children where it's like, you've done something good, let's go to McDonald's to reward you. And so now that's instilled in your head as you become an adult. Hey, I'm driving by, I see the arches. Oh, I've had a long day. I'm going to reward myself. And it's that programming. You got to break that cycle with children. And a lot of parents don't do that, man. And it's so bad. And I mean, it's even, to be honest, it's even worse in America. When you get your southern states, it's everything has gravy. Everything is double side. Everything is like, even from Canada, when I travel to the US, when I go to the US quite a bit, and you go into a fast food joint, everything's doubled size. Everything is, you guys offer so much more than even Canada offers, which is crazy, right?
Yeah, man. And you're 100% right, dude. It's out of control. Like, I was at, okay, so I was hungry. I went to Wendy's, right, the other day.
I like Wendy's.
I treat myself, right? But I took, I was doing low carb. I was going to do high fat, high protein, took the bread off of the burger, no bread, nothing. But I got a size large. The drink was like this big. Crystal was in the car with me. And she's like, and it was like a Coke Zero. I was just like, I wanted something refreshing. And I didn't even finish half. And she's like, what the hell? Why is that drink? It's like a gallon of Coke Zero. Like, what is the point of this? You know what I mean? Like, am I unsatisfied that I have to drink this whole gallon? Like, I'm fine with a smaller medium. Yeah. And, you know, I just said whatever, I got a large, and it was tremendous. Like, what, and my mind starts thinking, you know, there's a deeper plan for all this stuff. There's no reason for us as human beings to, consume this type of stuff constantly. Just like you said, you know, you're online at Walmart and it's all snacks now. You know, do we go into, is America pushing for obesity or population control? They want people to drop dead. What's going on? What's the deeper?
I don't know if is it America, or is just you got these global brands that are billion-dollar companies that they control the market, right? Like it's money controls the market, whether it's the big banks that control everything, or it's these big global companies that control everything. So you get these big companies where they could turn around to a Walmart and they're paying for the shelf space. They're paying for stuff like, so they're getting what they want, right? So, and be honest, it's in I would say North America. I don't know how it is in Europe and whatnot, but in North America, it's cheaper, it's easier to eat fast food.
Yeah.
Right. If you live in a low poverty area, it's not easy to eat healthy. It's expensive to eat healthy.
Oh yeah.
And you go buy healthy food and healthy vegetables and good meat, and then all of a sudden your grocery bill is a couple $100, but you could run down to the Burger King and your whole family has a big dinner and you're all filled and satisfied for 20. It's just that mindset, right? So fast food is so accessible and it's lower cost. So it's just, people just have to make the right choices, and it's going to start, like I said, it has to start with the parents instilling it in their children. If that could start even slowly, you'll see change. But until that happens, there's not going to be change.
Oh yeah, I agree with you 100%. My sister-in-law was involved in the fitness industry for many years. She competed, she did everything. And when she had my niece from birth, she fed her healthy stuff, healthy food. Until this day, my niece, skinny, lean, and she doesn't even crave bad food because that craving.
How old's your niece?
She's 9 now.
Yeah. You started young. Like I said, look at my social media posts and you see my kids. Like they're both lean and jacked. And my daughter's like, she's 14. She does like pull-ups, like full pull-ups. She's doing like 15, 20 full pull-ups. She does like 50, 60 full like push-ups. Like they're little machines, right? But it's like I said, they work and they build on it, and it becomes their life, and it's instilled in them. And I think that's what parents have to start doing.
Oh yeah, that's amazing, man.
Tattoos. Thank you, brother. You got a lot of tats. What age did you get your first tattoo?
I got it at 15. My first tat was can you see it? I still have it. It's like a tiger with a tribal.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then it said "mom" and "strength." So in Chinese, I think that's what it said. Who knows if it's that? Probably me. It says I'm an asshole on it. Who knows? But
I got my first at 16. I got a Superman tattoo at my 16th birthday.
Awesome. Yeah. Do you still want to get more or no?
I have quite a few. I got it quite a few.
Yeah, they're addicting, man. I remember
I got on my wrist, and you can see "Let It Go."
Oh, cool. All right, very good.
And then I have on this wrist "Relentless."
Nice.
And then I got my arms. I got a line on my arm, and I got a bunch of other different stuff, symbols and stuff like that. So are you still actively getting tattoos, or are you slowing down?
Yeah, believe it or not, I'm gonna get more. I took a little bit of a break because I'm covered. But yeah, I wanted to get my neck finished, and then my back doesn't have anything on it. I have something scheduled for my leg with my brother-in-law. We're doing a matching thing because he's actually he's like Sicilian and Maltese, Malta. Yeah. So we both have that Mediterranean, and I'm Lebanese. So like we were gonna do this whole Mediterranean theme together, but yeah, man, they're addicting. I gotta slow down. I remember my tattoo artist said, "Listen, kid." I was 15. He's like, looked at me. He's like, "Listen, kid. He's like, these are addicting. You're never gonna stop." And I'm like, "What is this guy talking?" I'm like, "Yeah, all right, man. I'm good with the try." Yeah, look, like 20 years later, I'm still getting inked up. Because what happens too, like when you're an artist, like you start seeing things uneven. You know what I mean? I'm like, this don't look right. This don't look right. This looks like shit. This needs shading. And times change. So tattoos, like I have tribals, I hate them. So like now I'm like, I'm such an artist and I want something so nice and that flowy and cool and, with shading and like a whole mural type, you know what I mean? And then you look at your stuff and you're like, So yeah, man,
that's the problem. They're permanent, right? There's no fucking around once you get them on.
Yeah, they're permanent. I do know somebody that got them removed. I saw him getting, you can laser remove them now.
Yeah, but it leaves a pretty nasty scar though.
Yeah, yeah, it does.
Yeah,
and then they get it tattooed over that laser removal. I know guys that have laser removed. Hey, sorry, my dog sees something.
No
They
problem.
laser removed tribals to only get something else over it.
Yeah, very, very cool. I'm gonna throw a couple more questions before we get out of here. I always throw these last two questions to all our guests. If you had a superpower, what would it be, Will?
Oh, good question. To see into the future.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that would enable me to make the right moves. Whatever it is, you know what I mean? Whether you're trying to make money, whether you're trying to
use it for good purpose, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. See into the future would be one of them for sure.
I always ask everyone also, if you were to pass today, your closest friends or your loved ones, in a few words, how would they describe you? Or how would you want to be described? That's a better way to ask.
That's a good question. What I would want most importantly is to hope that while I was here, sorry, hey, while I was here, that I made a positive impact on them, and that I was a good person to them, and that I helped them in some kind of way, in a good way, in a good influence. And they said, you know what, Will was a good guy. He did this, and he helped me with this, and broke me out of a certain mindset that maybe they would have been in. I just hope that my name is a good name when I leave here, and it's not a name that people want to put dirt on and talk about. I want to just have a positive.
Let's just live a good life, man. Just be
That's
good
it,
to
man.
people,
Yeah.
man. And surround yourself around good people. I just did a post yesterday. It's like, you want to be around individuals they're either like-minded or they're going to better you.
Exactly.
Right. And a lot of people don't understand that, and they surround themselves around the wrong people, or they're in a situation where shit hits the fan, and that person that they felt was close is not the right person in their lives, but they don't want to lose that person.
Yeah.
And I'm a strong believer, and I had this conversation, and there was this conversation yesterday with somebody too, is everybody has a purpose in your life. Whether you meet them at the grocery store for 5 minutes and you just smile, and you're having a shit day, and that smile just changed the way you felt that day, or you had something in your life for 10 years, and you know what, for some reason you guys are going to go on your different paths. They're in your life for those 10 years for a purpose, right? So if somebody's in your life for a short purpose or a short time, just make use of the time. That's one. Second, make sure they're the right people. Don't waste your time with people that are just going to bring you down. Negativity, like victim cards. Like I was talking to somebody the other day, and they were just this victim card. It's an entrepreneur. He's done well for himself, but it's always like, oh, this is not happening right, or this is not happening good, or it's just constant negativity. It's like the world's trying to get him all the time. And I'm standing there and I looked at him, I'm like, shake your fucking head, man. I go, you're talking this way. You're just building this negativity around you. And it's like, nobody's going to want to be around you when you're like that. So surround yourself around good people, and just spread as much positivity as you can. So that's a great mindset to have, right?
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, for sure, man. I agree with you 100%. Some people love to live in their own negativity, like what is that? Misery loves company, right? And
100%.
it's unfortunate, you gotta, and if you are around those type of people, they will bring that into your life. That negativity, that, that whole thing will start offsetting on you. Just like, when you always hear people like in a toxic relationship, if you're a good person and you're dating a toxic person, you become toxic yourself, 110%. So it's all about who we choose to be around, what we choose to be around, and that'll, roll out the road for what type of person you're going to become and what your future is going to hold.
100%. We're going to end it off with that. I appreciate you taking the time of your busy schedule to come on the Jeff Knows Inc. podcast. Do you want to say anything to our listeners before you go?
No, I do want to say this has been an awesome podcast. I think this is my second podcast that I've ever done, and this was fun, man. Thank you so much.
I'm gonna have you back on. So as soon as you start coming up with your new product line, I want to have you back on. I want to talk about the journey with you. I appreciate that. And on our show notes, I'm going to put all of Will's contact information, how to get a hold of him. If you want to get him on your podcast, you want to get him on your show, do you want to follow him on social media, see what he's up to and see his journey, I'm going to put all those links and all that stuff like that. Once again, brother, thank you so much for coming on our show. It's been a pleasure getting to know you, and hopefully this is something we'll become friends from here on, and it'll be something more of a long-term journey here between us.
Oh yeah,
I think we're very similar. Very similar.
Yeah.
Very
100%, man. I totally enjoyed this, and I'd love to be back. And thanks again for having me. I had a blast.